Hi, Deborah Overberg here. Today we'll look at emanations coming from the sun. And there's three different perspectives: prana, invisible light, and neutrinos. And the question I have is there any correlation between these? That's what I want to know. From the Vedic perspective, comes to us this idea that both prana and kundalini come from the sun, as well as all of what we might consider the normal parts that are easily quantifiable scientifically: the electricity, the heat, the light, sound, and motion. And we'll be focusing on this idea of prana, or vitality, also called life force. Neutrinos are quantum particles that come from the sun, streaming down constantly all the time. They're called a ghost particle, and I'm wondering if they don't quite fit into that faux hot category, but more likely fit into this prana category. Prana is a conscious, intelligent, creative energy, and neutrinos also carry energy. A Western philosophical perspective comes from Manly P. Hall, whom many know and respect from his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And in his book here, his treatise, he was told the students to revere the invisible sun. And I'd like to read this out because I think it's very descriptive. That it says, light is not only a physical element, it is also a mental and spiritual element. And in the temple, the disciple is told to revere the invisible sun even more than the visible one. For every visible thing is only an effect of the invisible or causal. The invisible sun is not limited by walls or even the surface of the earth. To those capable of seeing the light of these spiritual orbs, there is no darkness. They see with their third eye, for they dwell in the presence of limitless light, and at midnight see the sun shining under their feet. The science tells us that electricity, electromagnetic fields and forces come from the sun. We have photons, light, heat, plasma, and sound. For the last 30 years, at least, we've been recording sounds from the sun. But these emanations are only available to us during the day. Neutrinos also come from the sun, and there's a steady stream of them, about 65 to 70 million neutrinos per centimeter squared per second, and these are available day and night as they go through the earth. So when the student is taught to revere the invisible sun shining under their feet at midnight, this sounds to me like the neutrinos coming from the sun that seem invisible to most people. However, when the student opens their third eye, it becomes visible as the light that knows no darkness that would come up from their feet. So are these neutrinos the invisible sun that they were talking about in that description? So a question I have that I just want to briefly address here, we'll go into more detail later, is if the neutrinos can go through the entire Earth, how might they possibly interact with us as a prana field? And that is why we have hypothesized this bioneutrino field, which is based on some biological physics going back to 1978, and we will be discussing this more later. But then this bioneutrino field in our cells may interact with the neutrinos coming from the sun and possibly up through our feet at midnight. So to visualize this, might those bioneutrino fields that are part of our cells and scale up to be part of our biofield around us, might those interact with the neutrinos from the sun and with us at any time, day or night? So back to our original question, are neutrinos part of the prana and invisible light coming from the sun? That's what I want to know. And that brings up the next question. Could neutrinos interact more frequently with the high energy of biological systems?